All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is a genuine head-scratching mystery. We're talking about an ancient text, written almost 2,000 years ago, that some people believe describes our universe with, well, shocking accuracy. It's called the Sefer Yetzirah, or the Book of Formation. And trust me, the parallels we're about to see are going to make you think. So let's just cut right to the chase here. The big question is, can a 2,000-year-old mystical text really describe the physics of our universe? I mean, seriously, it sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But the connections we're about to explore, well, they're just undeniably fascinating.
Okay, so before we go any further, you need to understand the context here. The source material we're looking at presents Kabbalah not as a religion, but as something else, a method. They call it the science of receiving. The whole idea is that it's possible to connect to this, let's call it a non-physical source of information. Think of it like tuning an old-school radio to just the right frequency to pick up a distant signal.
Okay, so the first major clue in this whole mystery is how the Kabbalistic tradition says creation even began. And get this, it doesn't start with a bang, but with a constriction.
And right here, we see a parallel that is just whoa. The ancient mystical concept is called Tzimtzum. And the idea is that creation starts by engraving a hollow into an infinite light. Now compare that with what modern quantum physics tells us, that empty space isn't empty at all. It's actually buzzing with energy fields.
And you know, this isn't some modern spin on an old idea. This concept is ancient. There's another mystical text, the Zohar, that describes the very first moment of creation so poetically. It says, engraved a hollow in the supernal luminescence. It's such a specific, almost technical description, hiding there in this ancient verse. It's wild.
So this is where the source material draws a direct line right to our modern world. It suggests that this mystical hollow is actually describing the Higgs field, the real-world energy field that fills our entire universe and gives particles their mass. What's being suggested here is that these ancient writers were describing a space that wasn't empty, but was filled with pure potential. Just wow.
So if that's the what of creation, the Sefer Yetzirah also claims to tell us about the how, and it all starts with the very first line of the book, which reads less like a story and more like, well, a set of instructions. Okay, so the book kicks off with this very specific phrase, with 32 mystical paths of wisdom. A really important interpreter, a guy named Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan, dug into this. He noticed something incredible. A 5-dimensional hypercube, a geometric shape, has exactly 32 points. Then, using something called gematria, which finds meaning in the numerical values of Hebrew letters, he interpreted the text even further. He believed it was describing a dual reality, our physical world with 10 dimensions and a parallel spiritual world with 26 dimensions.
And what's so fascinating about this is how weirdly precise the text is. It doesn't just, vaguely hint at other dimensions. No, it's emphatic. It actually repeats that the physical world has 10, not 9, not 11 dimensions. Think about that. This is not some vague, mystical hand-waving. It's presented like a specific blueprint for reality, written thousands of years before string theory even dreamed of something similar.
Okay. So a dimensional model is one thing, right? But the claims, they get even more startling from here. We're about to get into specific calculations about the cosmos that are allegedly hidden right inside this ancient text.
So, according to Rabbi Kaplan's deep dive into the text, it actually contains a calculation for the total lifespan of our universe. And the number it supposedly gives is 15.34 billion years. Now, just to put that into perspective for you, our best scientific guess right now puts the age of the universe at around 13.8 billion years. For a calculation that comes from a 2,000-year-old book to land that close is, and I don't think this is an overstatement, pretty remarkable. But hold on, it doesn't stop there. The very same analysis claims to pull out another number, an estimate for the total number of stars in the cosmos. And that number is 1 sextillion. That's a 1 followed by 21 zeros. A mind-bogglingly huge number. And incredibly, that number lands right in the ballpark of modern estimates from our most powerful telescopes.
So the question becomes unavoidable, right? How could anyone in the ancient world arrive at a number on this scale with this kind of accuracy? It just doesn't seem possible.
Okay, let's just take a breath for a second and recap these extraordinary parallels we've just walked through. These connections between an ancient mystical book and how we see the universe today.
So first, you have a concept of creation that sounds a lot like quantum field theory. Second, you've got a specific 10-dimensional blueprint for reality that's thousands of years old. Third, there's a calculated age for the universe that is just shockingly close to our own. And finally, a number for the total stars that is, well, remarkably accurate. Any one of these is a cool little coincidence, but when you put them all together, they form a pattern that is compelling and honestly deeply strange.
And that leaves us with this one big, final, profound question. What are we looking at here? Are these just a series of stunning coincidences? Is this evidence of some kind of lost, advanced knowledge from the ancient past? Or could the Sefer Yetzirah represent a completely different way of knowing things about our cosmos, a forgotten science of receiving information? And that right there is the mystery at the very heart of this ancient, incredible text.